Wilson Run is probably the epitome of running events at Sedbergh, and it's been described as one of the toughest cross-country runs in Britain.
It's a 10.5 mile fell race across the bores and old sheep tracks and fells around Sedbergh.
The Wilson Run is a 10-mile run for sixth form pupils. It's been started, I think it's 1881 it started.
The founder of the Wilson Run, Bernard Wilson, arrived at Sedbergh School and he brought long distance running with him. He was a really passionate runner and a really passionate schoolmaster. He was here for about 40 years and really dedicated his life to the school. And when he founded it, the pupils didn't know the course, obviously. It was being established for the first time. And so the masters set off from the steps of Lockton House with sacks slung over their back full of these tiny little slips of paper. And they'd take their penknife and cut a hole in the bottom of the sack as they set off. And they'd run, leaving a little trail of tiny bits of paper as they run. And the boys would follow those so they'd know where to run.
My name is Sam, I'm in Evans House and I won the Wilson Run. It's kind of a weird feeling actually. The day before the start I was like incredibly nervous. Like I remember sitting in English just like trying to concentrate on Paradise Lost and I couldn't get any words straight in my head. It was horrible. But then the actual day of, I sort of just, I don't know, my mind just calmed a bit. Even on the start line, I think my mind just settled like it's here, it's arrived. A lot of it is about the history that's gone into it and the effort that people have put into it over the years. When you stand outside Lupton House and you know that over the years thousands of other people have stood there, having put in hundreds and thousands of hours of combined work, and like that's what it represents to me. Lupton Field was great, loads of people there and just a massive atmosphere. But the best bit of the race for me was coming back across Sedbergh Bridge when you could first come back in Sedbergh. My mum was stood there, and that's where we always stood and watched the races as children. So I remember standing there. There's pictures of us back in Pram standing there, and just all those years watching boys running back through, and just trying to replicate that myself. That was a special bit of the race.
Just let the viewers know at home how did it feel finishing that line first place?
It was pretty ecstatic really. I've been looking forward to this race and training for it for a few years now, so it's nice to have it all over and done with.
What was your first thought when you crossed that line?
Just relief really. Just happiness, it's over, it's done. Don't have to run anymore.
So the Epics are a series of runs that try to get you to sort of be able to run the length of the Wilsons, sort of really manage your pace and manage your endurance and get your energy right, so what you eat and stuff like that, which is really important, which a lot of us found out on the first one.
So we train every Wednesday, there was an epic, and then we just did those practices, and then throughout the week there were a few other shorter runs at like 5k.
With the school we do a lot of, we go out on the course as the qualifiers for the 4 weeks before we start, so everyone gets a good taste of the course.
In the qualifiers there's 4 of them, so the time for boys I think it's 2:10 this year, and for girls it was 2:30. So everyone who wants to run it tries and runs it and see if they can qualify basically. If you don't make it the first time, which quite a lot of people didn't, because the weather was really bad on the first one, then people who did qualify from like your house or your friend group you always have 3 chances, so they'll help you around. So on the 3rd qualifier, me and my friend Rob got my friend George, who's prop, got him around the course. So you basically just push them up all the hills or pull them, just run with them and make sure they're on time. So.
Some of the best days of being part of a house are the qualifiers. I mean, the race day is amazing, but because your family are there, your friends are there, you're sort of a bit separated from your house. On the qualifier days, you are absolutely part of your house, and like in lunch before and break before, everyone's sort of chatting about, okay, who are we going to go for today, who are we going to help around today. So that atmosphere of like camaraderie and like just support is a really amazing thing about it.
The weather was like playing on my mind a bit because it was such tough conditions compared to the previous year where the record was broken and it was like perfect conditions, so that was quite a big factor, but I just kind of like didn't really think about it too much, and I think that benefited me.
I have to say it's one of the trickiest conditions that I've seen in my time at Sedbergh this year. The conditions are definitely very difficult. The base of the ground is very firm, but you've got this layer of greasy mud over the surface. So when you go down to places like Thrushgill, it's very slidey down there, and so I think we're going to have a few slips and slides on the way down.
I'm Beth and I'm in Lupton House. I came first girl. On the day of the Wilson Run, I'd say I was pretty chilled because I wasn't really expected to come, well obviously I definitely wasn't expected to win it. Coming down the finish, it was just such a surreal moment because it just wasn't expected at all. Like I don't even really think it hit me until like a few days afterwards. It was just so surreal and just such an amazing feeling.
My name is Kate. I'm in Robertson House and I was second girl in the Wilson Run. I knew I was doing well because the teachers, like the marshals, were saying where I was coming. And then I just felt like relief and joy when I was coming down the line and seeing all my family cheering me on towards the end.
Ted Dixon, Evans, and I came 19th in the Wilson. Or 9.5 miles of the first bit are really painful, and you get to that sort of last half of the mile, you can hear people. You've got loads of people supporting you on the road at Danny Bridge. It starts to become like you're getting to the end, and then you come up onto Lupton, see the crowd, see the tunnel, and that's one of the best feelings. Sort of trying to stop smiling and concentrating on running, but you can't really. You've got to you have to try and take it in and try not to run too fast to make it last a bit longer.
My name's Alfie, I'm in Evans, and I came 20th. I don't actually remember finishing, so I got to, for the whole race, I could see this one boy in front of me, Harry. He was a good couple of minutes in front of me. When we hit the road, I couldn't see him, and my only goal on the road was to catch him. And I caught him on the last corner coming into Lupton, and I remember passing him, turning the corner and just seeing like a tunnel. And I don't remember anything else.
Yes, I'm Livy and I'm in Robertson and I was 12th girl. Well, coming like the straight to the finish line, I wanted to get under 2 hours. And I think I got it about 1 hour 59. So I saw like the clock like at the finish. I was just like, hey, I need to just get to the end. But the straight felt like a slow motion. Like I just felt like the whole thing was just in slow-mo. So it was just like, this is just crazy.
I would say that you should do the Wilson Run because it is a great achievement and you feel really good after it. And because all of your other friends are doing it, so you should do it with them.
Start early and just do little and often. In the few weeks before, you'll see people start going out and doing panicked 10-mile long runs on some days and trying to do as much as they can the weeks before. The vast majority of people, I think that's a really bad idea. Just do a little bit as often as you can throughout the year.
I'd say I think the pressure is like what can like make or break people. Like it gets to people so much, and I think like the mental game is so important. Like just taking it one step at a time.
I think just even just through the qualifiers, like run with a friend. Like you think it's really daunting, and yes it is, because it's just the unexpected. But like just try and do it first time, and if you don't get first time, then do it again and again, and just try and make it fun.
I think definitely the run is a massive part of it. The day of the Wilson is huge, but like the build up to it is also massive in the way that everyone comes together, everyone's sort of stood for the epics, trying to qualify, trying to help each other round. Teachers involved, teachers supporting you up, handing you flapjacks, makes it more of sort of a homely sort of spirit around Sedbergh. And the fact that not many other schools have something like that is a really big thing for Sedbergh.